Let's rank some pufferfish. These will be the scorecards we're using and the point system that we'll be using. It will not be a 1-to-1 ratio for the ranking. Let's pop up there. That's better. Now I'm out of the way. First, we're going to do the pea puffer. For its size, it gets 1 point out of 1 point because of its small and manageable size. For their diet, they get 0 points out of 1 point because their diet is the hardest part of keeping the pea puffer correctly. For hardiness, it gets half a point out of 1 point. This is because they're a moderately hardy species of puffer. For tankmate options, they again get half a point out of 1 point. While some tankmates do work out long term, there's a high likelihood of failure long term with tankmates. And finally, commonality. How common is this fish? Since this is the most common species of pufferfish in the hobby, it also gets 1 out of 1 point for this metric, giving it a total of 3 out of 5 points, and putting it in B tier. They are a moderate effort puffer that is not a beginner species, but is good for the intermediate aquarist. Second species we're going to talk about today is the dragon puffer. It grows to 6 to 7 inches in size, so for size it gets half a point out of 1 point. For diet though, it's one of the fish-eating species, which makes dietary considerations much easier, giving it 1 point out of 1 point for diet. Next up is hardiness. This is a very hardy species of fish, and because of that, it gets 1 point out of 1 point. And now for tankmate. Since this is a fish-eating species and highly aggressive, it gets 0 out of 1 point for tankmate, because I don't recommend cohabitating this fish with any other fish. And then finally, commonality. How common is this species? This is a moderately common species that is often seen in the hobby, but not commonly in fish stores. For that reason, it gets half a point out of 1 point, giving it a total rating of 3 out of 5 points, but because of its ease of diet, it's going to go in C tier for lower effort. I will be ranking every species of pufferfish in this fashion, so follow along.